only had to do a one. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm gonna hit the go buttons just because this way this is kind
We're
of the
ready to go.
pre-show, and that way if people
We can get
kind of
warmed up. We
get
can
warmed up,
warmed
yeah.
up.
Usually there's some kind of a still slide or an animated slide that people put on Twitch before the show starts. So we just hit go live and banter a bit.
Right.
It's the bonus material.
Right. Oh, what do you think of, just in the middle of our show, we just throw in shout outs? The
Shout
idea
outs.
is like I would be here looking at Twitch to see who's on. I would send the guy, hey, we're doing a shout out for you on. That's right. We'd have to say that on Johnny's channel.
A shout out.
On
Okay.
Johnny's channel, they'll say, who the hell? What? But they should see that you're live.
Sure. Shout
And then
out
we
whatever.
say, hey,
Yeah.
hey, Ducky, or whoever it is.
Yeah, you want to shout something out? Shout out. Yeah. Not sure if I get it yet, but shout out where on
On our channel, yeah.
on,
I would look to say, hey, who's on there? And then I go, oh, okay. So,
okay.
in fact, like, who's on there right now?
Right now, me. I'm on.
Hey,
there.
you're on there. Whoa.
So shout. So basically,
Existence 130 is on there. So we'd say, hey, shout out to 130, and telling her that we're just shouting out her channel and see if there's a response.
shout out people's channels. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh,
What do you
awesome.
think?
Yeah. No, we should totally do that.
We could just shout out any old dipshit that comes along.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's we could do that. Yeah.
So since we're live, I'll go into our channel to see what the ad is. Ha 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 ha.
We got to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't get the ads. So
This Friday, a knight becomes a legend.
a knight becomes a legend.
Must be some movie. The Green Knight. This Friday.
The Green
Look at
Knight.
that. Look at that.
Brought to you by the Green Knight. Now, is that Knight with a K or Knight with an N?
Okay.
Okay. The Green Knight this Friday. Got it. There we go. And we will turn our ticker on just to make sure everyone knows what advertisement Brian got when he loaded our channel.
Of course, it didn't say where. Right?
But it's this Friday. That's all you need to know. But yeah. So and we got a comment. You also typed that into the room just to make sure everyone knew. Cool.
In case people didn't get what we're talking about it.
Right. Exactly.
Although we're saying that, right?
Right.
Brought to you by the Green Knight. Okay.
Exactly.
This Friday, which is not a 13th. Why did I bring that up? No real reason.
No, it's not a 13th. 13th was Tuesday, and 13th. Oh, August has a Friday the 13th though. So that's coming up.
So why did my green screen decide, no, we're not going to do it this time?
It's kind of shitty. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
That's better.
Again, sometimes you have to turn on legacy mode, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's lighting.
Weird.
It's lighting and shadows, and that's the thing. I mean, professional streamers would have.
Yeah. What's this shit over here?
But that's a shadow. So the shade of the green is a little off, and so it's struggling with that. Basically streamers.
Oh yeah, weird.
Well, that's why most professional streamers have like lighting rigs in their rooms with them to really
and I do, but then again, one is brighter than the other, so it's making that shadow.
Right.
The other one should be, hey, you should be taking care of this.
Yeah.
but then
Whereas
it's too bright and
I
all
got
this
4
bullshit.
light bulbs on a dimmer on a ceiling fan, so that I think that
You know,
I'm not a professional.
I just bought a switch that includes a dimmer, so I can do that too.
There you go.
Just not yet.
Yeah, just got to put it in. Just remember to flip off the breaker to that circuit before you start.
So the interesting thing is the edge of my background image comes to here, but this much is black, right?
Right.
What's with that? My iPad thinks that I'm starting here.
Well, you could probably drag or expand that in XSplit, right?
That's how it's expanded.
There you go.
Is that better?
There's
still a black section.
Right. But the aspect ratio is narrower, so you'd have to expand more to crop top and bottom. But that I think is adequate. Although you're kind of hovering without a lower part of your body, but that's
there you go. I'll and then I can move myself over.
Yeah, you could.
What do I need this other stuff for?
Oh, you're flying. That is quite a trick. Woo! He is flying this week. And,
We're getting in the realm of Bezos and Branson and those billionaires that are bored.
Yeah, we could do it for far cheaper with an app. We've got an app for that.
That's right.
And but you moved yourself off to the edge of the world now, and you just gotta.
Yes. That's okay. Why is my chair just rolling on me?
That's okay, because once again, it is time for another fun-filled edition.
Insert title here.
The show that changes names so frequently, we put a placeholder in. And, this week, we got to talk about the green stuff.
The green stuff. Yay!
The green stuff will get the job done. Green stuff will do it. And I guess before I talk about the green stuff, I should talk about what would lead me to looking for green stuff. Although I didn't know I was looking for green stuff, but when I went looking for a solution, I found green stuff. And the green stuff, it works. All right, so as anyone who's been a regular on this show knows, Gators has bad luck with lawnmowers. And I think we've gone through a few stories involving lawnmowers. I mean, there was, mind you, I didn't have to cut the grass until I bought this house, because when I was, renting places, other people owned the grass, other people took care of the grass.
And you didn't even have a lawnmower, right?
I never had a lawnmower. Now, I did used to cut grass growing up, because my dad felt that I should know how to cut grass, a.k.a. my dad didn't feel like cutting the grass that weekend.
That's right. Oh, yes, you need to learn. Okay, I've done it once. I nailed that. Next test, Dad.
How to dress up free labor as life lessons. Son, it's time you learn how to cut the grass, so when you have your own grass, you'll know. I think I can figure this one out.
Okay, so I take it you bought a lawnmower when you got this current house.
No, I was gifted a lawnmower.
Gifted?
Yes.
That's like a free gift. Did you look that gift horse in the mouth?
No, I took that gift horse right after a protruding pole is what I did, and destroyed that gift horse, because the former owners of this house had a chain link fence around the house, and the former flippers of this house decided this house looks better without a chain link fence.
So they just cut it off at the grass line.
Well, no, they cut it out at just above the grass line where a lawnmower blade would run. Is where they cut it off.
So you hit this post.
I hit the post,
and you weren't totally unaware of it.
Well, it was covered in grass, and there's like 4 posts along the front lawn, so it's very easy to miss one or overlook one, because you kind of know where they are. And so one time I'm cutting the grass, and conk, and the lawnmower stopped, because when the blade don't move, the lawnmower stops. And
now, did it destroy the blade, or?
Well, it probably put it. It probably put a nice sized dent in the blade, but I backed off from the pole. I pulled the cord. The lawnmower started back up, and I finished mowing the lawn. And I finished mowing the lawn for that season.
You didn't bother to look at this blade to see how badly it was banged.
No news is good news, Brian. All I knew was that I pulled the cord.
Oh, no. I have a better one. Ignorance is bliss.
Yes, ignorance is bliss. I decided, let's try pulling the cord and see what happens. I pulled the cord, the lawnmower started up, grass continued being cut. So I was like, okay, blade is good enough to still cut grass. That's really all I need to know right now. So that was fine, and it lasted the rest of that summer, and I put the lawnmower away for the winter. I pulled the lawnmower...
looking at it still.
Right, and then I pulled it out the next season, and it wouldn't start because...
Because the blade is destroyed.
No, because normal gas station gas is awful stuff for lawnmowers, and you get residue that will cause problems and make it difficult to start. So I brought it to a guy that fixes up lawnmowers, and he cleaned it up and had it good as new. Well, good as a lawnmower that previously had the blade hit by a pole.
So you're like Steve Wozniak. You're going to fix it rather than throw it away.
Well, he didn't do anything to fix the damage done by the pole because I didn't say anything about that. So all he did was figure out why it wasn't starting, clean out the edge, and it made it start again. So
that was what the order was.
That's what the order was. So I brought it home, and I figured, if there was any problem with the blade, the guy probably would have said something when he fixed the problem, but he didn't say anything. So I started up, mowed the lawn 2 or 3 times, and then one day I started up, and the motor started doing a little shimmy, and a shimmy might be fun out in the dance floor, but a shimmy ain't that fun when it's a lawnmower. And so I, let go of the handle, and I'm like, what was that? And I stopped and I thought for a moment, and I thought, well, let's try that again. So I pulled the cord, and it shimmied, and a chunk of metal flew out from under the lawnmower, and a clank, 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 clank was heard. And I lifted up, and I rolled back the lawnmower, and the blade was lying on the ground. So basically, something had cracked when I hit that pole, and it held until it didn't.
Maybe the repair guy whacked it.
You know what? Yeah, maybe the repair guy did something. But I really can't pin anything on the repair guy when I know I did something really stupid that was likely to cause a lot of damage.
Because ignorance was bliss. And
ignorance was bliss. I got a number of mowings out of that lawnmower before the damage finished taking its toll. So that was the first lawnmower.
Wait a minute. You quit at that point? Why didn't you just get a new blade?
Well, because...
Or take it back to the guy and says, we have a second problem.
Well, I brought it back to the guy. He looked at it and he said, "This thing is like." He basically was like, "This thing is shot. I don't know what happened to this thing," and I didn't really tell him what happened. I'm just like, "I don't know what happened. Metal flew out, blade dropped down." He's like, "Oh, this is." He's like, "I could patch it up, but it's really not going to be that good, and it's probably not going to last much longer." So I'm like, are there any parts that are useful for it? He's like, well, I got a scrap pile out in the back. I'll throw it on for free. I'm like, okay, cool. And so that was the first lawnmower.
So, wait a minute. So we got a part, put it on there, and then it...
No, he put it on the scrap pile.
He put that lawnmower on the scrap pile.
Right, yeah. He looked at that. He was like, oh, hell no. There's nothing worth fixing here.
And he didn't describe what the problem was.
Oh, he did. I just don't remember the details. Something was cracked. Something was broken. So it wasn't
just a broken blade. It was the broken mechanism that held the blade on it.
Right. Oh, it was broken. It did some damage.
So damage to the shaft and the nut.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Now we're getting someplace.
Right. Because it wasn't it was a piece of metal that flew out and then the blade dropped.
We are a technical show, and we like to know details.
So that was the first lawnmower. So then I went to Craigslist and I found a guy nearby that was selling a lawnmower for $15. So I went to his place.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I go there and I'm like, it starts. He goes, yes, it starts. He pulls the cord. It started. He lifted the thing. It stopped. So I brought it home. I pulled the cord. It started. I cut a little grass. It started to shimmy. I stopped it, and I brought it to the guy to see if he could fix it up. And the guy took a look at it, and he said, this thing was run without oil. This is no good. It won't even hold oil anymore. So that one's good for the scrap pile.
Oh, so wiped out the...
Yeah.
Well, but... Oh, that's right. The shaft that's busted on the other one is part of the engine.
Right.
So it's not like you get to swap engines.
No, this is not... Besides, the engine's busted on this one. You know?
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. You swap engines so you have a good engine, but the shaft on the other engine makes that engine useless.
I had 2 bad engines here. Yeah. So I basically said to the guy, I just need a lawnmower that'll cut my grass. He's like, you need something? I'm like, look, I have a postage stamp. You know? So
yeah, right.
So he said, I've got some mowers here I can sell you. And so he sold me one. And I bought it. Now, mind you, every time I brought this guy a lawnmower, he gave me the same 30-minute spiel on proper lawnmower maintenance, which basically
put oil in it, gasoline. Do you use what do you use for gasoline?
What you get at the gas station. But a few tips he basically gave me about the gasoline. One tip is when you're storing it, like put a plastic bag, take the gas cap off, put a plastic bag on there, screw over the plastic bag to help keep moisture out of the gas tank. At the end of the season, run it down so that you store it without gas in there with the plastic bag over there to keep moisture from getting in. And also he recommends that, when you get gasoline, after a few weeks, whatever's left in your gasoline can, put it in the car so that you always have fresh gas. Don't let the gas hang around for months.
So when you run out of gas, you run to the gas station to get some more.
Right. So, but after
then the excess goes into the car.
Right. If you've been holding gas for too long, don't let it age too long.
Good idea. So I'm sliding off the screen again.
And then here's he showed me this stuff. He made me take out my phone and take a picture of this stuff and said go buy this stuff. Stable. That is a fuel stabilizer, and you put a certain amount of that into the tank with your gas every time, and that helps stabilize the fuel. So I bought that. I've put that in the fuel every time, and that got me through last summer. And then I put the lawnmower away. I went through the tank of gas. I put the lawnmower away at the end of the season, and I pulled it out like a month ago, or probably 2 months ago at this point, and started up, and it ran okay. It didn't run great, but it ran enough to cut the grass, which is all I really cared about, because I put new gas in, put the stable in, and I started up, and it's running okay, but it's kind of, but I was fine with that because it let me cut the grass. And then the second time I go to cut the grass, it was stalling out every time. It was stalling out pretty easily. Like it would start.
The stabilizer was no longer stabilizing.
Well, the stabilizes the fuel. That doesn't mean that it does. It's not a miracle cure for everything. And mind you, this stuff is red. And I said it's the green stuff that you need. Not that you don't need this stuff. You said or he said? No, he told me about this stuff. I opened up with the topic of this is going to be about green stuff, but we haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't got there. Whoa.
So
let's not jump the gun.
So the second time I mow the lawn this season, it's stalling out really easily anytime I get to a tall patch of grass. So I'm like, shit, I guess I let the grass grow too high. But I stumbled through, I restart, I kind of push it carefully and gingerly, and I managed to get my lawn mowed. And then I go to start it up the third time. It's time to cut my grass. And it won't stay started. The lawnmower starts up and stalls right out. Starts up, stalls right out. Starts up, stalls right out. And I'm like, fuck. I'm going to have to bring this back to the old guy to clean up again. And I'm like, why does this happen every year? Can I get a lawnmower to work more than one season without having to visit an old guy? And not that I have anything against old guys.
Either that.
Some of my best friends are old guys, like Brian here.
Yeah. See, what you got to do, end of the season, rather than keeping, you just bring it back to the old guy and says, yeah, that worked great. Why don't you buy this back, and in the spring I'll buy another one.
We'll just there you go. There. So
just call it like a lease, right?
Yeah, a lease on a lawnmower, so that every winter I sell it back, and then every summer I buy a new one.
How much did you pay?
Oh,
do you recall?
25, 30, not it's definitely under 50.
Okay, yeah, good. That's not bad.
It was not much.
That is a lease price.
No.
Since it only lasts a year anyway.
Well, Dune, we're going to get to this. Dune wants to know, do you want to really know why? Nothing to do with using Stable. Now, Stable helps, but Stable doesn't solve the problem I have. But
I know Dune's going to have the answer, but are we ready for it?
Well, I Googled it. And what Google told me was
get green stuff.
Well, no. Well, the first thing Google told me was to get Carb Cleaner, and so then I Googled how you use Carb Cleaner. Now and the way you use Carb Cleaner is you take apart the carburetor and you spray it in there, but that involves taking apart a motor or taking parts apart of a motor, and I don't know what I'm doing. And one person's YouTube about their lawnmower is good for their lawnmower, but does my lawnmower look like
they're all different?
I don't know.
But was there any particular brand that you were buying in this journey?
And so I didn't buy Carb Cleaner. So I decided to Google other options. So I did a little more searching, and basically I started looking for Carb Cleaner options on Amazon because I was kind of like, well, maybe I'll just have to suck it up and buy some Carb Cleaner and take the thing apart and then bring the parts to the old guy to put back together.
Sparky Toaster!
Hello, Sparky!
So now we got 2 people that are watching us. Yay!
Yay! So while I was looking on Amazon for Carb Cleaner, I found this stuff that I'm going to share the screen for, and this stuff is made by the same people that make the red stuff that the old guy recommended. This is Stable Fast Fix, small engine treatment, cleans carbs and injectors, and I figured, my God.
Because we know that speed and power is what you need.
And basically, you put this in your gas tank, and it cleans the carburetor, and it doesn't require taking anything apart. It does require the engine running, though. But Sparky Toaster is watching a Korean babe on vacation in Texas shoot a gun for the first time. Oh, my God, I want to see that.
Oh.
So
who's the person? Let's put that pop in that show as a screen share.
So I bought this stuff and I figured I'll get this stuff in the gas tank. I could get it to start and stall out. If I get it to start enough, to run enough to start cleaning it out, I can probably get this through, get my carburetor clean, and then I have a bottle of this stuff to just throw in the tank periodically to clean out the carb whenever I need to. So I went out today after I was done working for the day. I went out. I dropped a bunch of the stuff in the gas tank for the lawnmower, and I started up. I pumped, and I pulled the cord, and it started up and it stalled out. I pulled the cord, started up, stalled out, and then I figured out the more times I pump the little thing, the longer it stays started before it stalls out. So then I figured out, well, if I keep pumping the little thing on the side after I get it started, it'll keep running. And eventually that will clean it enough that it'll stay running. And sure enough, that theory panned out. So I just kept pumping the little thing carefully, slowly, a few pumps here and there, just enough to keep it, like every time it slowed down like it's going to stall out, I give it another like 2 or 3 pumps and it would pump. And eventually I got to the point where it was kind of cycling through for 30 seconds to a minute, and then it would stall out and I just pull and start it again. And I knew when it was done cleaning. Because at some point after a little bit of this, it just went sprung to life. And I was like, there it is. The green stuff did its thing. And so I mowed my lawn and I'm all set. And mind you, I didn't even have to use like, a fifth of this bottle. So I got plenty more green stuff to throw in the tank
next year.
For next year or for the next. Heck, I might throw this stuff in with every tank of gas. I don't know, but I think that,
Yeah.
I got the red stuff. I got the green stuff. I am all set to treat my gas. And now Dune here says you cannot use alcohol fuel. Where am I supposed to get fuel for my lawnmower then? Anywhere I go's got the same damn fuel. So show me another option. I mean, really, this is what I got. I got to work with what I got, and I found
He's got
solutions.
A good point, but where do you get the non-alcohol?
Right. So it's Christmas in July. I got the red stuff. I got the green stuff. I put it in my alcohol fuel. It makes it more festive, and my lawnmower's happy because Merry Christmas. That's why. So there you go. I solved the problem.
Right. So was that Dune's big hint?
Well, I don't know. Dune's, I don't know. Dune has told me several times it's the gas, but like I said, this is the gas you get everywhere you go. This is what everyone does.
Search it out. Someone has it.
I found a fix. I got the red stuff.
Yeah.
I got the green stuff.
But to Dune's point, one of the problem with alcohol in gas is that before we were doing that, engines were designed without it. You add the alcohol, and it dissolves gaskets and seals and rubber parts and all this, so it turns it into garbage. Okay, so the last lawnmower I owned, which I got rid of about 20 years ago, I moved it here from Houston, where I was using it. Hadn't used it a little bit. I tried to start it, and it would not start. I could, however, take off the air cleaner and that little spongy thing, pour gasoline directly in it, and while I was pouring gasoline, it would run. So basically the air intake was also acting as a carburetor.
I see.
And I was hoping that might fix it eventually, but it never did.
So here's the stream that Sparky was promoting to us. So this is Korean Babe on vacation in Texas. And she does like the Texans do. And is that a semi-automatic? That's certainly big, whatever it is. And that's, she's pointing it the right way, away from people.
We should have the camera angle from the other side.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That'll last right until the camera gets hit.
That's right.
Okay. Well, there you go. There we go. She's aiming.
Has she fired anything yet?
I don't know that she
Pull
has.
the trigger, babe.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Okay. Man, that pushes her back a bit.
Yeah.
That's got some oomph.
I hope she has ear protection on. I think she does.
I think she does. I don't think you can go to a gun range and not put ear protection on.
Yeah, that's right.
At least not my experience.
The gun Nazi probably will be yelling at you.
No, oh yeah, she's got the big ear protection on there.
Yeah.
They got the big muffs on. So yeah, that is that's good stuff right there.
Obviously, Texas.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's gun ranges in many states. I used to, shoot at a gun range in New Jersey.
Texas, it's a given. When we were living in Houston, we traveled up to northern, Glacier National Park in Montana, and we crossed the border into Canada.
Right.
Back then, it was easy to do. You just had to show your driver's license.
Yeah.
The guy goes, "Oh, I see you're from Texas. Do you have any guns?" And I looked at him and I said, No, we're kind of new at this.
It's like, no.
That's chuckles.
I'm not from Texas. I live in Texas. I'm from
Right, right.
Connecticut.
Yeah, right. Well, actually, before that, Colorado, but
Yeah. No, but I mean, if you,
Connecticut, Colorado and Texas has a cool.
what state do you mostly
rivalry.
well, I guess at this point you'd mostly identify with California because you've
Yeah,
lived there for
California logged in
many
years than anywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
right, over 20 years.
Yeah, so you don't, whereas me, I've lived in Massachusetts a number of years, lived in California a number of years. I love Maine, but Jersey guy, that's
That's where you graduated from high school, right?
right.
That's where you graduated from college. Oh no, that was Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
But you're half off the screen again. But
because I leaned back the other way because the.
Well, I think
car
you could
was
grab
rolling.
your camera angle too, or you could.
I know it. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Well, you dragged your.
There you go. Wait a minute.
No, that's wrong way. But there we go. But
Oh, I see. The whole table is twisted. That's why I thought. Whatever. So the table is twisted, right?
camera
It's
angles.
twisted like 20 degrees off of square.
Camera angles are so challenging.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, so that's so I got lawnmower running good as new now, thanks to the green stuff.
Fantastic.
And now I figured out how to clean
and
the
look at
carburetor.
that with the extra excitement of the gun range and
Yeah.
digging into the details of it. That was 26 minutes.
And you know what? Mind you, this lawnmower only cost me, what, $25-$30, something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if the ethanol gas ruins this engine after a certain number of years, I don't care. It'll be time for a new cheap lawnmower at that point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. To Dune's point, do look for gasoline without alcohol.
I'm not going to look
in
too
fact-
hard.
In fact, actually, the amount of alcohol in gasoline differs between, shall we say, the summer formulation and the winter. I think the winter has less.
But if I buy it in the winter and I hold on to it till the summer, it'll go stale.
Well, you just seal it so it doesn't add water.
That's too much trouble. I'm just, you know what? I got the green stuff. I got the red stuff. I'm all set.
Well, I mean, you'd still use that, sure.
Yeah. No, I
we're
got
good
this.
there.
I got this.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah.
Lawnmowers are disposable.
And I bet you Dune is just laughing his ass off.
Now you know what's not. You know what's not disposable though. Beard trimmers. Beard trimmers.
Oh, beard trimmers, not disposable.
Well, not mine because I don't know what to buy to replace it. Now, mind you, I bought a beard trimmer about 15 or so years ago.
Yeah.
And beard trimmers are probably, and I bought the cheapest one I could find at Walmart. So, it was
it's probably good forever.
It's probably good for 3 years, and I'm 15 years into a 3-year at best beard trimmer. And I'm quite proud of that.
Rechargeable or?
Yeah. It's got
battery operated that you have to change the batteries out every once in a while.
No, it's a built-in rechargeable battery that still holds enough of a charge. The problem has been making contact.
Is it NiCad? So you got to keep the damn thing on the charger all the time.
I do keep it on the charger all the time, and it's designed to do that. The base, well, basically, it takes a earphone jack, as a battery charger jack, on the bottom of it. Yeah. And it comes with a power cord that has the, earphone jack on the end of it. And the base has a little hole and a little compartment that will hold it so that you could, slide that thing in there so that's sticking up the bottom of the base. And and giggity all right.
Not like
every
electric toothbrush that have that induction charger.
No, nothing
there is
that
no
fancy.
physical contact.
No. There's definitely penetration going on every time I dock the beard trimmer into it.
He does penetration with his beard trimmer.
Yes. Every time, it goes back on the base, it the pin goes in
So
the hole.
I got one of these water pick flossers.
Uh-huh.
That squirts water all over the place. Guess what kind of battery? It's cordless, of course.
All right.
What kind of battery operation it uses?
Fuel injection?
Well, the battery technology.
Pull start? No.
It actually uses just AA batteries.
Oh, well, that's easy.
And 3 of them.
Okay.
So you go, okay, I'm going to get a charger and get rechargeable batteries, right? So I don't have to keep throwing batteries away because they last a couple of weeks. Then you have to throw those away. Rechargeable batteries, right? And rechargeable batteries, you kind of swap them out. You might get 2 weeks out of them.
Right.
The thing starts going downhill after about a week and a half.
Right.
But it's like, and I'm using, metal nickel hydride. Okay.
Right.
It'd be nice if I could get lithium, but what the hell, right?
Right.
But it's like, why didn't they have a built-in rechargeable batteries? What's wrong with them?
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. But on the other hand, it makes it easy to change batteries. So and you could buy AA rechargeables.
Yeah. But if it had built-in batteries and a induction charger like my goddamn toothbrush, then
you gotta pay extra for that. Anyways, Dune sent us.
What do I care?
Dune sent us an oldie but goodie here. Here's how you know when you're shopping in Texas. So right here we kind of got the security footage from the store, and she's looking around and. That's how you know you're shopping in Texas.
Oh, that caught me by surprise.
That caught everyone by surprise.
That like a bottle of booze or something, or what was that?
A bottle of perfume, maybe? I don't know whatever it was.
Big bottle of perfume. But then again, in Texas, you might need it.
I don't know.
Because people in Texas stink, right?
Might be booze.
Now, we just got a lot of people that just left the show.
I just know it's a bottle with a cork stop that went pop, and
could
be a decanter for some booze. But anyways,
cool.
so anyways, what was I saying? We were just talking.
Funny.
Oh man, I was going to say something. What were we just talking about?
About Texas or about the battery charging?
Oh yes. So the beard trimmer. Now mind you,
we were talking about a beard trimmer.
Beard
trimmer.
trimmer.
Want to trim your beard
because here's the thing.
I don't know why. Is it because of the hops?
I've been trimming my beard with this trimmer for 15 years, so I know the right settings to get it just the way I like it. Not to mention, I know how this trimmer works on certain sensitive areas of my body, and I'm comfortable with that. I bought another set of trimmers to cut my hair. And I could use that on my beard, but that has wider teeth, so I'm not going to use that anywhere below the neckline. So that is just not going to happen. So the point is that
no glory. It could be a lot of glory.
It could be very gory, but
glory, pretty much the same thing.
The problem I've run into is that the charging connection isn't quite making contact anymore, to the point where I couldn't get the battery to charge anymore. And I needed to do a little landscaping, and I couldn't get this to charge enough to
landscaping or manscaping.
Yes, and like I said, I could buy another beard trimmer, but would it have the same teeth and blades with the certain that are not going to catch loose flaps within?
Have you seen the ads for this Manscaper or whatever the fuck it's called?
I know I have those things, but also, I mean, this gets it just right, because if you get if you get it too close, then things
what you're used to, right?
Right. If I get something that does a better job that gets a closer cut, then I'm going to be itchy, and I don't need the close, smooth cut. I like what my current thing does. I don't want to introduce a new electronic device to tend to below the belt line. So this cheapo Walmart special I bought 15 years ago has to continue working. There's no other way. And so I
remember the special razor that came out for Don Johnson?
Don Johnson.
Miami Vice, Nash Bridges. Because you'd always have this, shall we say, a 5 o'clock shadow probably at noon.
I see.
So they would keep trimming them with this special razor to keep it
to keep the 5 o'clock shadow fuzzy. Just right. Yeah.
Right.
So
what is it? Well, here's a good name for it: the peach fuzz.
The peach fuzz. Yes. So, anyways,
probably not very manly.
I actually opened up the beard trimmer, got the little headphone jack thing where the battery charger connects to, and bend the metal contacts in to get the springiness back, and I've got it charging yet again. And so this thing is on. But how many how many more times can I get away with this before metal contacts start breaking off? And then I'm going to have to solder on a new earphone jack to go into this trimmer. And then the battery's going to stop holding a charge. So I'm going to have to figure out how to tear that out, find a suitable rechargeable replacement battery for this that will fit in the right component. This is what the lengths I have to go to keep the balls maintained. Yeah.
Suddenly too much information.
Well, you can't just run any blade there.
Yeah, okay.
You have to have one you know really well and trust.
That's right.
And I don't feel like building that trust again from the start.
Yeah,
I just no.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that is my dilemma there. What am I going to do if I can't keep this beard trimmer working?
Hey, you've got it working now. Just go with it until
that's
it's a problem.
Right? I got and the next time I have a problem, I'll have to deal with it. But my plan is to keep fixing this for the rest of my natural life. Is the plan, because I do not want to.
Absolutely,
I want to stick with what I know. It's funny, the little dilemma. # first world problems.
That's right.
So there was that. So anyways, yesterday I mentioned on the Dune and Bob show that I've been, on a bit of a Jackass theme lately, or the classic TV show. Have you ever watched an episode of Jackass?
Oh, if I have, it's been a really long time. and it's kind of like, boy, that's stupid.
That's what's so great about it. Yeah. It was the golden age of TV. 3 short seasons of 8 episodes each. There was only 24 episodes ever made.
It actually got 3 seasons?
Yes, it did.
Wow. That's impressive.
And then they went on to making movies, which another one's in the makes.
Right.
But here's the thing. They've put out 5 DVDs of Jackass content, but these are not the original TV episodes as they originally aired. These are the material repackaged in different orders with different soundtracks because some of the music licensing they couldn't clear. And they're good DVDs.
Yeah, it cracks me up when the DVD comes out with a different music track.
Yeah.
And, it's like, wait a second.
For example,
that was my favorite song there.
For example, there was a bit in the first episode where Johnny Knoxville put on like a strap-on underneath his shorts so it looked like he was sporting a really large boner, and then they start going around and doing things like playing basketball with a group of people at the park or going to get his car checked out with a mechanic and see what reactions he got from people just kind of chilling out doing normal things with a huge, very noticeable boner in his pants. It was... And the original TV episode aired with "I'm So Excited" by the Pointer Sisters as the background music track, which was perfect because with the boner, he looked quite excited. Of course, they put some generic music to the background on the
actually, there's a funny line in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
This one lady's a teacher, and she's talking about the young guys in her class, and she mentions Yeah, once in a while they'll sport a tent.
Yeah, yeah, pitch in a tent. That's what you would
Yeah.
call that. You know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. I
That-
love
that-
that show.
Yeah.
So funny.
So anyways, what I've done is I have TV captures of the original episodes. I have all these DVDs, and I can I've ripped these DVDs, and I'm using video editing software to recreate the original TV episodes with the content from here. And if they altered the sound, I use the original sound from the TV. If they haven't changed the sound, I use the sound from here. If there's a bit that they never reissued on DVD, I use the TV capture. So I'm putting together the best versions I can. Here, let me show you. You know, because I can show you here, and there's a reason I'm telling the story, because I learned a lot more about video editing and about.
By the way, what did Dune mean by 5 o'clock?
I don't. I
Oh,
don't
the
know.
shadow. The shadow. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 5 o'clock shadow.
Now, oddly enough, I can't find. Oh, here it is. So this here
There we go.
is
Winner.
here is a piece of software I use called Sony Vegas. I'm just gonna size this so I can.
Made by Sony.
Made by Sony. Now,
Yeah.
I think Sony at some point sold this off, so I think the latest versions of this are made by another software company. But back in the time of this version, it was by Sony. And this is version 13, Vegas Pro, copyright 2013. And I like it because look at this. Like, I have here 2 video tracks and 2 audio tracks, and I can lay them out and I edit different things, and you could take different audio sources and crossfade them. Here, look at I zoom in here with my scroll wheel, and you can kind of see where I'm crossfading different things here, and I got this track down here, which is muted right now, because basically what I did was I brought in over on track 2. If I mute track 1, you could see that's what my TV capture looks like. And you can see it's not as sharp and nice looking as the DVD that I pulled in. Not to mention the colors quite a bit different between these two. And then if I come over like here and I play some sound here, you know, this is what it sounds like off the DVD.
What's the log for? Hopefully to injure right.
And if I mute that and I unmute that, then you kind of have your TV sound, which has a bit of a buzz and hum in the
What's the
background.
log for? Hopefully to injure.
But there are certain points here where like this had different music from the what aired on TV. So I kept the TV version and deleted the DVD audio because when Dave England.
Oh, so you're
steamed
patching in the
Naked.
original music.
Right. In cases where they replace music, I patch in the original music. In cases where they didn't, I keep the DVD audio.
Yeah.
And basically, this is an episode where, as you can see, I had a DVD version of every part of this episode. I mean, this DVD included all the show openings and all the show closing credits. So I even had DVD quality closing credits. And over here we got the bit where everyone's drinking eggnog until they puke, which is classic TV.
Worked.
So yeah.
And the smell, all right. We don't get that on TV. One of these days they're going to invent smell-o-vision, and you're going to go, okay, how do I turn that fucker off?
Now here's the thing I didn't know about video. Let's see. 5-Hit Dune's going, woo, woo, woo. Go back to that registered to again. I don't share my real legal name on. You think Johnny Gators is my real name? You think Jonathan Guitars is my real name? I'm going to have to fix that in post.
Right.
Oh, this project is licensed to fuck off.
Oh.
Yes, it is. That is my real legal name, and it's a registered copy and licensed.
Right.
And
so your last name is off.
my last
yeah.
name is Off. I got a brother
If you
named
just use the if you just use the initials, it's
F.O.
FO
Yeah.
or just the first initial, it's just F off.
F Off. I got a brother named Jack. And
Because he has the registered products.
sometimes we call him Jerk. But anyways,
Right.
but here's the thing I didn't know about. Now, Brian, are you familiar? This is a word I knew and I kind of understand, but I never fully understand. Are you familiar with the term interlaced?
Oh, on television? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And do you know what that means?
Yeah. It does one row, and then later it comes back into the next a different row. But I mean, it does one row all the way down, but skips a row when it comes back. It does the row it missed.
So it alternates rows.
Yeah.
And DVD is typically interlaced because, mind you,
Yes.
this format dates back to CRT TVs and all that shit. And so that means when you have video that you ripped off a DVD, it's typically 29.97 frame per second interlace, which means that every frame has two subframes,
Scans. Yeah.
two scans, and they're not simultaneous. So you almost got like
Yeah,
six.
because you don't have time travel.
Right. So it actually is two different points in time. So you actually have like 60 frames a second in reality, but they're half frames and they're every other line.
Right.
And
Right.
the thing is though is that you would think that when you had interlace made as a standardized thing that they would have picked which field would go first and that would just be that across the board and that's just how it's going to be. But you'd be wrong. So
Of course, we got HTSC or whatever the fuck that is.
NTSC and PAL, but that doesn't have anything to do with it because even NTSC
Right.
could be top field first or bottom field first.
Well,
because
that's
you could-
just the pixel dimensions.
right.
So,
you could, yeah. So
and the multiple of 50 hertz versus 60 hertz.
right, that's all different things.
Because the
But-
United States can't agree with the rest of the world.
No, of course, no. Well, no one could agree with anyone. So
That's right. That's right.
But anyways, so the point is that I laid out the first episode of Jackass from the DVD rips, and I included this DVD, which was difficult to rip. This DVD did not want to rip. Make MKV couldn't even find the main chapter with the main program material. I had to use a tool that extracts VOB files while using another decryptor software and extract the VOB to an MPEG. And then I imported it in, and then I rendered, and then a few of the bits that I used off this DVD looked really janky. They were kind of really jagged. The film, the camera would pan across the scenery, and it was like jagging back and forth. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And so I went to the video help forum, and instead of someone teaching me about interlaced video, they said, "Oh, well, that content is
You have
rendered."
to Google it.
Well, I googled. Well, you can.
I know. Go ahead.
You can Google janky video, but there's
Yeah.
lots of reasons why video could be janky like that.
Sure.
So, but I posted the sample to Video Help Forum, and the guys are like, well, that was rendered wrong. It rendered it bottom field first, but it should have been rendered top field. Or it's top field first, but it's bottom field first playing top field first. And I'm like, well, how did that happen? And people keep on saying, well, Vegas should automatically detect it properly and should automatically render it properly. And I'm like, well, it didn't. So it doesn't. And then, people are saying, well, you can, change the settings. And I'm like, but what settings do I need to change where? And no one could really get to the bottom of this or answer my question satisfactorily. And I'm trying to understand, because the first obvious thought I had was these DVDs are interlaced top field first. This DVD is interlaced bottom field first. And when I'm trying to combine top field first and bottom field first material, it's picking one over the other. And it makes the material that came off of this DVD janky. That was my first thought, and that was a reasonable thought, but that was wrong. And so I started asking questions like, well, how am I supposed to deal with this? Am I supposed to get Vegas to render an MPEG that will change from top field first to bottom field first based on where the material came from? And is that even possible? And finally, And people kept ignoring that question and kept on saying, well, you just got to render it properly, or things of that effect, or, well, you got to set this right here, or you can change this over here, or, but no one answered the question, what is my goal and how do I accomplish that? Until finally someone said, yes, it is possible to render an MPEG to change what fields go first, but you can't do that in Sony Vegas. Sony Vegas is not able to do that. And then I noticed that the first segment off this DVD renders right when all the other segments rendered wrong, and vice versa, based on different settings I would change. So then I thought to myself, if it's possible for an MPEG to change field order midstream, but it's not possible for Sony Vegas to render a video that's like that, then Sony Vegas probably wouldn't read a video like that properly. And that's how I figured out that this DVD starts bottom field first for the first segment on the DVD and then switches to top field first for the rest of it. And Sony Vegas reads it as a bottom field first video when you pull it in, and then renders everything but the first bit wrong.
Bizarro.
Bizarre. Yeah, bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't know why this DVD was authored that way, but it was. The first segment on Johnny Knoxville taking a
you
taser.
know why? You know why?
Why?
Probably
'Cause they're
because when you
jackasses?
play the DVD, it's fine because the player doesn't give a crap.
Right, the player will play it right because it's authored to do that. But why would you
But
ever even do
they
it that
probably
way?
Do it that way. They did it that way to make it more difficult to do what you're doing.
I don't think that's what it is,
In
though.
other words, they're saying, "Hey, Johnny Gators, this is going to make it difficult for you to copy."
I don't think that's what it is, because if they really want to make it difficult to copy, there are other things they could have done. I think that's just some weird, bizarre thing where someone rendered something wrong and someone fixed it by just making it work with what they had rather than going back and correcting the mistake.
The regular guy isn't going to even notice.
Right, because you put it in a DVD player, the DVD player plays it fine. The DVD player will play it bottom field first, no problem. That's just how it goes. But what's cool is that if I go back to sharing my my Vegas scene, I found a way that I could kind of preview and see that. So the other guy kind of helped me with this because I figured out what it is like if I pull in a segment from that DVD and I go and right click on here and go properties, when I pull it in under media here, it'll say that's in here lower field first, which is incorrect because only the first segment on that was lower field first. The rest is really upper field first. So I can change it to upper field first and then it looks right. But you can't see that because it's only showing you one frame at a time. So it's really only showing me the top fields because it's top field first. But if I come over here to my properties and I change my project to be a progressive scan project and I change it to have a 59 frame rate, which is double NTSC, and also I prefer to send this to interpolate rather than blend, then I could actually see every, sub section of the frame. And as you can see here, it is moving correctly. But if I were to come back here to the properties of that clip and set it back to lower field first, like it is when I first import it, that's when you'll see that it's doing the down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and that's just wrong.
Yeah.
And that just... And so it looks really jaggedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is what I learned about video editing this week.
What if you just converted it all to progressive scan?
Well, if I wanted to convert it to progressive scan, I'd probably want to convert it to 30 frame per second progressive scan. but it's not 30 frame per second full frames. It's, that means you have to somehow blend the fields together or interpolate them, because mind you, I have 2 subframes. Now I guess I could make it 60 frame per second progressive scan, but then I have to do some method of filling in the missing lines on each of the frames. It's really best to keep it in the form it's already in and not add another level of digital processing. It's already
I get that.
It's already interlaced, and I have the means now to render it properly with the interlacing that's there once I figured out what was going on with the interlacing. Because that was my first solution, was make it progressive scan, set it to interpolate, and render it progressive scan, and then it fixed the whole field issue. But that meant doing a level of digital processing that degraded the video to a certain extent.
Right.
So once I figured out what was happening with the interlacing, I was able to re-render it with the same formatting to do less digital processing to it.
You may have to take a whole class on video now that you've got the audio side all worked out.
But it is like pulling teeth, asking for help in the video form.
Oh, yeah.
It took me a few days of asking questions before I could get some, seriously detailed answers, because people just kind of start out with there's a checkbox there for that. Well, you go to the project properties over there and set it right. Well, go to the file properties. And it's like, well, why is it doing this? And what should it be doing? And what is it going to do when it's done?
Right.
Good
It's
help.
going to go from janky to mushy, right?
Yeah. Good help. So hard to find.
Yep.
But, that's help forums in general. But at least I figured it out, and I left a nice lengthy thread on the video help forums that I find most of the times when I go to a help forum, I end up doing most of the work.
That's kind of the expected. A guy throws a suggestion out there, and hopefully that will give you something to make to the next step.
Well,
and you're doing all the work.
Well, the thing is I thought I came with all the details I needed for people to fill in blanks, but it was, and I don't know, to be fair, this DVD is quite odd and not what anyone expects to encounter. So I came with a very unusual thing, but I didn't even know how unusual it was when I started. But it basically, the people on the help forums, they're good with video knowledge, but they're not really good with troubleshooting. And that's what it really needed, was I had to troubleshoot to finally, figure, but I didn't know the right questions to ask. And then when I got answers, I figured out that, okay. Like, for example, the whole, is it possible, I was asking if it's possible to render an MPEG that changes between top field first and bottom field first, because I thought that's what I was meant to create. And people were ignoring that question because that's not what I was meant to create, and that's not what Vegas would create. So why am I even asking about that? But instead of telling me that, they just ignored it until I finally forced the question. So it was the right question, but not for the reason that I thought. It was the right question because it's not what I was trying to create. It's what I had pulled in.
Okay, so let me suggest this.
Yeah.
There's a help forum on, this is specifically Sony Vegas, right?
No, this is video help in general.
General video help.
Right.
So if you have a few guys there that really know what they're doing, but maybe they have experience in different products.
Right.
But I'm guessing a large percentage, it could be 60% or whatever, are knuckleheads that have no idea. If you give the right cue, they might say something. Of course, it could be wrong.
Right. Well, there were like 2 people that responded more than once. And the first guy was like, I don't know how to do it in Sony Vegas, but you need to select the correct field order. And
did anybody suggest a different video editor?
No one did, but then again, I'm not really looking for another video editor because
I mean just out of the blue.
No.
Like, I use Chandra, whatever the fuck the name is.
Yeah.
And
Adobe Premiere.
You would do this. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
That
Adobe
would be
Premiere is
a
a pretty
given.
popular one, but
Yeah.
well, I think I said up front. I really
Well, there's a lot of cheaper ones that people also will suggest.
often
Non-Adobe, because Adobe has gone to the subscription model,
right.
right? You can't
then
just
You-
buy a product and use it until it's dead.
No,
You're renting it until your money runs out. That's the plan. Then they can send somebody to space.
right, exactly. And
Speaking of space, can you believe the gussiness of Bezos? He comes back and he says, "I want to thank the Amazon employees and the Amazon customers that made this possible." Hey, buddy.
if he really wants to thank his Amazon employees, why doesn't he give them health care? I think that would be an appropriate thanks.
I don't know about that, but they're now playing ads where the entry-level jobs are getting $15 an hour.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the
And
thing.
of course, the ad shows all these happy people, and including at some of these sites, happy vendors, people that cut hair and that stuff.
Well,
specifically for Amazon employees.
And that's good.
So apparently you can work for Amazon and get a haircut.
Well, one thing I take issue with is that Amazon has this automated way of hiring and firing people to be their drivers, for example. And the thing is I get it. You don't want someone that's gonna drive a van and go park someplace and jack it or waste time or whatever. So
a lot of companies that have delivery vehicles,
you got to monitor
throw a GPS into the truck and watch the guy, because people will do that. They'll go off, park for an hour with their girlfriend and do what he does with his girlfriend.
I understand the need to monitor performance. I get it. You got to monitor performance because, you don't want to be paying someone to just sit in a parking lot and make you look bad.
Right.
I think we're all in agreement on that. But what happens, and you read story example about this, is because of how inhuman they've made the system, which, mind you, I get it. Large company requires a lot of drivers to deliver all the packages. The manpower to do that without an automated system, is a challenge. But that's what you're in the business of. You got to find a better way than an automated system of firing people.
Sure.
But they have a rating system, and if someone gets a flat tire, which happens, then you're late delivering packages. Your rating falls into bad, and then
see the thing is, just going by numbers is stupid.
Right, exactly.
If you get a flat tire, you should be calling someone that says, "Hey, I'm offline now because of a flat tire. Why do I get dinged for that?" Right.
But there's not anything like that, and there have been plenty of examples of people that they get a flat tire. Their rating dips. They get the tire fixed. They catch up on their deliveries. They work really hard the next few days. They get their rating in the good, and then a week later they're fired because their performance rating just wasn't good enough. And it's like, dude, you just fired someone for getting a flat fucking tire.
Well, I knew a guy that worked.
I
knew a guy that worked for Comcast doing help thing for customers.
Right.
And he basically says, and there's a time limit on calls. And he basically says, "Hey, look, if there's some little old lady that's having trouble getting her TV working, I'm not going to be going to this time limit. I want to get this thing solved. Right. Otherwise, we're going to have to pass it on to another person."
That's called a work ethic.
Sense. But anyway, he got fired for it. But it's the same thing. And
it's easy for me to say
automation to do that.
And it's easy for me to say, well, I would never work for a company like that. But I haven't had to. I haven't had to. I've been
Sure.
lucky enough that I've been able
Yeah.
to work for places where I can say, fuck your corporate policy. I'm going to work with my work
Yeah.
ethic. And if you don't like that, fuck you. And I get amazing feedback from my end users that my managers listen to, and they're not watching numbers like that. So,
Famously, in the past,
but that's because I'm lucky enough to work
Yeah.
for places like that. You know?
yeah. Well, and the thing is, for you and me,
Yeah.
if we thought, we just didn't like the place, we'd move on, right?
And that's what I did. Now, mind you, it takes time to move on, and that depends on a lot of
Absolutely.
things. Like when I found myself working at Enternock, I hated that job. I wanted out of that job, and I spent months trying to get out of that job.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
and that's not that bad. Months to get out of that job was not something I could really complain about when there are people that, I had a good resume. I was in a good area with lots of opportunities, and so I was able to do that.
Or it's fun. So when I was at Tharco, we got a new manager.
Mm-hmm.
This is the person above Dale.
Right.
And this person was from a consulting background and had all these brilliant ideas, which, as far as I'm concerned, didn't work for us. And I was considered leaving. Before I had a chance to leave, she left. Problem solved. Right?
Right. So, Sarky Toast writing in, companies use metrics. A machine controls your ratings, no human interaction at all. The boss says the ratings are the ratings, and the boss is not going to push the system or he himself will be kicked out of the company. Welcome to corporate stupidity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or somebody says, well, I didn't get the promotion or I didn't get this, blah, 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 because this person is either sexist or racist. So do they go to this?
So you remove the human
mechanicalized-
element so that you don't open. See,
Absolutely.
that's the other side of it, is that then you have to
Yeah.
have these like strict corporate policies so no one can accuse you of favoritism or discrimination.
Yeah, I mean, I did work for a guy who was this short, little Napoleon guy.
Mhm.
He was the fucking boss. He just automatically hated guys that were taller than him. I mean, a lot taller. We had a really tall guy in the department. He got just all kinds of shit from this guy. And he also hated women. It was clear.
Ugh.
Every few months there would be some charge against him, so he would have to go to the training and stuff like this. Hey, I know the solution. Get rid of the asshole.
Yeah. That would
But the
work.
big corporation is reluctant to do that. Hey, he's been with us a long time, blah, 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 blah. So we'll sweep it under the rug, just like the U.S. Olympic Committee. Oops.
Oops. Anyways,
That just happened.
I mean, metrics are fine in their place. I think that, for example, I think a big thing that Nick was doing was the programming behind, apps that were going to trace metrics at the machines out in the plant floor. But that is not the be all, and it never worked right because the machines kept signing people out and because they were timing out, and Nick.
But that wasn't
Never.
for personal performance. That
No.
was really just for cost tracking.
That was cost. Yeah, I mean, it was used. No, but and I mean, the thing is,
But
a
of
good-
course, you put that in the hands of an asshole manager, like the guy that left and we danced on the table because he left.
right?
He was a numbers guy, and he
Right.
would use that against his people.
Well, there's two kinds of managers. There's a manager in the corporate suite that's looking at the numbers that has no idea what's going out on the floor, and there's the managers that are out on the floor. They know who does what and what's being going on.
Right.
If you have a good management structure, you got people that know what's going on.
Right.
But
But there's also the dilemma, and I've seen this even with nice guys that I've worked for. Yes, he's working with you on various projects and stuff like this, but he's hanging out with the guys that are above him. So you go out to lunch and say, "Hey, can we go to lunch with you?" Oh, no, I got a lunch with the vice president
with the
or whatever.
important guys.
Yeah, because you're unimportant. Obviously
work-
doesn't say it
trying
that
to work
but
your
that's
way
what
up.
he meant. Yeah,
Work my way up the corporate ladder.
right.
Sparky
Which
Toaster,
is be cool because you know, hey, you want him to be promoting the department so that you guys continue to work.
and
right.
then Sparky Toaster writing in, but the managers on the floor don't have the balls to stand up. The managers say this is wrong, it needs to be fixed, or those managers end up moving on to greener pastures when shit starts going downhill. Which we saw a lot of good people leave Tharco as the plant went to shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
let me be clear. It was a shit show at San Lorenzo when I left that company, and
Yeah.
and quality had gone downhill,
Yeah.
morale was low, and I remember my Fong said many times, Schlemmer would have never let this shit go on.
Sure. And it was actually funny. You joined the company after the big push for quality
Yeah.
was pretty much done.
Hmm.
But even before the quality was training was done, the idea was, okay, here's your process flow. It goes from this guy to this guy to this guy. We all understood how that worked anyway.
Yeah.
But the idea was to stop the blame game.
Oh,
Right?
that only got worse as things.
But that just continued.
Yeah. Because
Even
I
though
remember
that was a goal, it never really happened.
that never really happened. It was always a blame game that went on in that company.
Yeah.
Right.
Not fix the problem. Let's just pin the blame on.
Right down to the long hold times. It was never the fault of the people that weren't picking up the phones.
That's right. They could call the IT department. It was our fault.
It was IT department's fault for not building a phone system that would deal with
which we
the
didn't
phone
build
calls
in the first place. We could explain how to configure it.
I
Actually,
will never
got involved.
I
in
will
that.
never tire of talking about the stupidity that is that fucking phone system, and it got to the point that I eventually had to run reports for the managers to show them the number of calls everyone in that department was picking up on a weekly basis, and you know what it did? It told them what they already knew, because they already knew the people that worked for them that were really good with the customers, and they knew the people that were average, and the average people were picking up the phone much lesser than the people that were really good. Why were they good? Because they did it. That's
right. The thing is that, okay, we know that this employee is lousy. We're not going to offer correction because that's too much problem, too much difficulty.
I mean,
and we're not going to fire the guy because, hey, if we lose somebody, we could either get somebody worse or they won't let us get anybody at all.
I mean,
so we need to fill those shoes, even though it's incompetent or unable to do the job.
I mean, the way a phone system's supposed to work is no giant mystery. A call comes in, you have a customer service department, and you just come up with a system to ring those phones in a fair manner. And the fair manner was to ring one phone at a time, so that if your phone's ringing, no one else is going to pick that up. That's your phone ringing. Pick up your phone when it rings. If you can't answer a phone, take yourself out of the queue, and then it won't ring your phone. And then if someone's phone rings and it doesn't answer, it goes to the next phone on the list, and it would base the order of the phones it would ring based on how many calls someone picked up, which means that the person that would let their phone ring and never pick up the call was always the first phone that would ring, which means that there was always an added 15 seconds to someone's hold time because they had to wait for all the ignorers to phones to finish ringing before it would get down to the person that would actually pick up the phone, because they were at the bottom of the list. So then people figured out, well, if I'm too busy to pick up the phone, I'll just take myself out of the queue. And then they come to us and go, we just got a complaint that people are calling in that says their wait time is 9,999 minutes. And that's and you need to fix that. What's your phone system doing? And that's when we go, well, how many people are signed in to take calls? Well, none. There you go.
Bing, bing, bing. There's your problem.
The problem is that it estimated wrong. It should have estimated infinity. Because that's how long it's going to take for no one to pick up a call in the queue.
Right.
And so then their answer was, well, I'll just start automatically signing people into the queue so phones will start ringing. It's like, do you know if these people are sitting at their desks? Talk to your people.
Right.
Talk to your people. So then they said this is too complicated. This doesn't work. Can we just make all the phones ring at once? And it's like, that's not how it's supposed to work. But could you just do that? If all the phones rang, someone's bound to pick it up, and then we won't have these high wait times. The problem is you can create a hunt group, and you can create a hunt group with 16 people in it. And the hunt group will make the 16 phones ring at the same time. But if you don't have 16,
actually, I think the old phone system did that.
But the problem is that our phone system couldn't handle 16 lines at once. So then it would ring all their phones, they'd pick it up, and it would hang up on the person because the hunt group was made larger than the system could handle. And it took me a while to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because then I called the phone people, and I'm like, our hunt group's not working. How big's the hunt group? 16 people. That's way too big. Why are you doing that? Because they asked me to. That's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to do this. I'm like, I know that. You know that. These idiots over here want me to make a hunt group. So that's when I had to split it up into 3 hunt groups and set it to cycle through the 3 hunt groups. So it would ring a third of the phones at a time, another third of the and then they still weren't picking it up.
Right.
And
So do you remember, did you hear stories about the old phone system? It had a name called Dial.
Oh, okay. Dial.
And once in a while you'd hear the word, well, I got a dial. What the fuck does that mean?
It means I got a bar of soap.
Phone message. It was a phone message.
Oh.
Right? Anyway, it rang. I think it rang on all phones, but also they had this little gadget, standard phone equipment from Radio Shack. They hung it up on the wall. I think it could set to beep, but also it would flash.
Oh,
so the phone would ring and this thing would flash.
This was Dale's favorite story. Because they asked him to put a strobing flashing light in to draw attention to when the phone is ringing so that people would answer the phone.
Yeah.
And so Dale did as asked and installed it. You go ahead. I'll let you.
Yeah. So we had this person that had epilepsy.
Small minor detail that was overlooked.
Yes. And this was a problem. Yeah. You don't want a person to go into
well, that'll get attention when the phone's ringing.
That's right. Oh, yes. Wait a second. I got to put you on hold because I have to call 911.
Remember, when you see your coworker over here seizing on the floor, that means you need to pick up the phone. There's a customer on the line.
Hey, her name was Debbie, right?
I never knew her. I only heard the story from Dale.
Yeah.
But apparently
I
Dale's...
think her name was Debbie. It's like, oh, hey, Debbie, could you scream when you're writhing on the floor?
Yeah, that'll get the attention.
That would enhance our phone system.
So... Well, I remember the way Dale told the story was he installed this strobe light, and he tested out, and he's testing it out as she walks into the room. She sees it. She screams. She runs out of the room. Next thing, like a manager came in the room and is like, hey, what the heck's going on over here? And Dale explained. He's like, you can't have that here. And so Dale had to take it out immediately. But he just did what he was asked, Yeah. They asked.
Exactly.
And I remember, you remember Shane.
Yeah.
We all remember Shane. And Shane was, the last in a long line of people to deal with these phone issues when I was there. And I'm like, dude, Shane, there's a long history of you need to talk to your managers to get them to pick on the, but Shane didn't want to hear it. Shane's like, could we put in a really big speaker that rings really obnoxiously loud every time the phone rings? I'm like, Shane, you have any idea how disruptive that's going to be to the workplace? I mean, not to mention people that are actually answering the phones when they're trying to answer the phone. He's like, no, we got to do something. And it's like, dude, you got to manage your people.
I know. Have the phone system trigger an earthquake.
That's what he was asking for. That is
Yes.
pretty much. I mean, he was
Yes.
asking for the type of obnoxious
Yes.
speaker that would trigger an earthquake in the building. You know that you heard it, you felt it.
So, by the way, Sparky Toaster has another suggestion.
Yeah. It's called ACD, automatic call distribution. Well, that's what we were describing.
No, I'm talking about the bottom one. Yeah.
A Korean babe shooting a 45. I guess that could be hot. I'll take a look at the link here. Yeah, that is hot. That is hot. Oh, I didn't notice the gun. But yeah, that is hot. There we go.
Shareable screen.
Well, you got the link.
Man, but I'm lazy.
Right. Let me hold on a second here. Let me drag this out to another tab. Let me come over here and do a share, share screen. There it is. And I'm just gonna say, it's a cute shot from behind, and it's a nice skirt. I didn't really notice the gun, but
It's just a still rather than a YouTube?
this is a still, but I think it's from the
Oh,
same stream. But
Okay.
she looks cute from behind. I like what I see.
Oh, one of the funny little things on Big Bang Theory is the guy does wrong, particularly Howard, and no, she does wrong, and so the guy, so Howard says, "Oh, good, tonight I'll have sex with a Catholic schoolgirl,"
There you go.
and there was a special outfit to go along with that.
Yeah, having gone to a Catholic school, Catholic schoolgirl uniform doesn't do much for me. I've seen them; they're pretty ugly.
Well, that Howard is Jewish actually makes it funny.
Yeah, well, I get. That's forbidden fruit for him. But
Right. But then again, Amy tries it, and Sheldon just kind of goes, "What are you doing?" It's pretty funny. You didn't get the hint,
Well, he eventually figured it out. And,
right?
they eventually did their once a year routine.
Right. But not at that moment. That's all.
Not at that moment. No. But,
Good show.
Good show. Good show.
Laughs.
Good show. Yeah. Oh, I've been watching Peacock put on a series of Dr. Death based on the podcast. So I've been watching.
Okay.
I've watched the first 3 episodes of that. 3 or 4? No, yeah, I watched the first 3 episodes of that, and there's 8 episodes, so I got 5 more to watch. So I might binge them tonight. But I've been enjoying that. But I tell you what's been frustrating for me, and this is just an example of how awesome Comcast's customer support is, and I use the word awesome sarcastically because it took 4 people. So normally when the Olympics are on, I put on the primetime viewing and they alternate between highlights and live stuff, and they do a good job of that. By the way, I had to stop for a moment and say I was quite thrilled that someone named Maggie McNeil won a gold medal. Now she won a gold medal in swimming for Canada, but that thrilled me because to me the name Maggie McNeil is the vocalist of How Do You Do? I thought, why not? Na just me. I think it's a different Maggie McNeil, but the thought of 70s pop star of Mouth and McNeil, Maggie McNeil,
Right.
going on to win a gold medal in the 2021 Olympics.
Yeah.
Well,
one line I really like, and they're interviewing this young, particularly the gymnasts. They're pretty young.
yeah.
There was one that was 18 years old, and she goes, "I've been waiting for this moment my entire life." Girl, you're not that old.
Yeah, well, that she still was waiting her entire life. Your entire
wait a
life
minute.
feels long, no matter how.
So you were waiting for this since you were 2 years old, or was it younger? Well, you said entire life, so even when you were just popped out, and you go, "Oh, I can't wait to be
mind
in the
you,
Olympics."
you know what? When you're graduating high school, it felt like you were there forever.
You were. God.
right. So
Yeah.
so if you're 18 and you dreamed of something that you saw on the TV as a child when you were 5 years old, that's not an insignificant portion of time, you know.
Sure.
If you're 5, you watch the Olympics. I want to do that.
As you go, here's the theory, and I think it's true.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
Is as you grow older, time moves faster.
Absolutely it does.
Because you remember, you'd be on Thursday and go, oh my God, I have to wait until all this time and then it'll be Friday, right? It was horrible. Now you get up, let's see, today's Tuesday and then it's Friday. What the hell?
Well, it's kind of like, you know, when you're 5 years old, 5 years was your entire lifetime. And when you're 40, 5 years is a much less significant chunk of time. You know, or when you're 5 years old, a year is a fifth of all time as you know it. When you're 42, a year is just another year. And so but there's some science to that the years do go by much faster as you get older.
Time accelerates. Yeah.
I mean, when you were in elementary school, the school year was a long fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
And now a year just flies by like it's nothing.
Fifth grade and you get fifth grade. Wait a minute, fifth grade is worse.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
How did that happen?
Absolutely worse. But yeah. But anyways, back to Comcast's awesome, amazing customer service. So when the Olympics are on, which once again, shout out to Maggie McNeil. You know, loved you on How Do You Do in 1972, and a great swimmer too. I think they're different people, but still,
yeah,
absolutely loving that. So a lot of times when the primetime stuff is over, I'll go and check out what's streaming live on the NBC Sports app, because usually I would sign in on the NBC Sports app on my, you know, Fire Stick or smart device and link it to my Comcast account, and it would let me stream some live stuff. However, this time when I went to do it, it said, "Oh, sorry, you need to upgrade your, you know, your TV package in order to get these streams." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing, putting this behind a fucking paywall now?" Well, about 6 months ago, I called because there was that like data cap limit that they were putting on the accounts, and I work out of here, and the internet's my livelihood, and the last thing I fucking need is a data cap. So I called Comcast and told them to knock it off, and they said, "Oh, well, we could put you in this package here, and this will be cheaper, and you won't have a data cap." Well, they downgraded my channel lineup, and I didn't care at the time because I don't even hook up the cable box. I don't watch the channels. And I said to the person, the only thing I'm concerned about is I want to still be able to stream Olympic events. And they said, "Oh, yeah, that won't be a problem." Well, now it's a fucking problem. So when you go to the NBC Sports app and you sync it up to your account and you don't have a expensive enough of a package for them to give you the content, they tell you, please go to Xfinity to upgrade your package. So I decided, let's call Xfinity and find out how much it would cost to upgrade my package to a package that would allow me to get these streams, and then I'll decide if it's worth it or not to, stream some more live events during a few weeks.
It's worth asking. Yeah.
So I called up and I asked the first person, and she goes, "Well, you can watch that all on Peacock. You could get the Peacock app, which is free, and you have that on your account. So why aren't you just watching the free events on the Peacock app?" And I go, so I bring up the Peacock app, and she goes, "Just click on Olympics and it should all be there." And I go, "Well, that's got, some highlights and it's got previous material, but it doesn't have all the live events. Where are the live events?" And she goes, "Well, I don't know. I don't support that app. Let me forward you to someone else who does." So she forwarded me to someone else who knew even less about the Peacock app. And she couldn't answer my questions. Right. And she didn't know what it would take to get the Olympic events. So I said, "Well, tell you what, if I told you that you either need to fix this or cancel my account, would you send me to the cancellations department?" And she said, "Hold on." So she forwarded me to, I don't know where she forwarded me to, but I asked for cancellations because I said, "Look I'm either going to cancel my account or you're going to fix it. So send me to cancellations so that they can, try to fix it." So that person, she came in with the whole, "Well, here's the thing you need to understand, sir. We don't control what content third parties provide you. That app is, NBC's app. So it's up to NBC what content they want to provide you or not provide you with. So
Right.
it's not under our control. You
Right.
know, those streams don't come as part of your package with us. So we can't say what package will give you that. And I'm like, yeah,
Right.
but when I go to that, it ties to your account and it tells me specifically to go to you to upgrade to get that. So you
Right.
should be able to answer those questions. And
Right.
she's like, we can't answer that question because that's a third party. I'm like, third party? It's NBC. NBC and Comcast are owned by the same company. NBC Universal Comcast. It's all the same. You don't have any
Right,
idea?
right.
She goes, hold on, let me transfer you over to them. And she transferred me over to the tech support department. And so I explained to her the whole dilemma. I'm like, look, you're the fourth person I'm talking to. I have no idea who I'm talking to. What department is this? She goes, tech support. I'm like, oh, hey, they sent me to tech support. Yay, that's, no, that's great. I work tech support too. So you're in good company here. She goes, oh, that's great. And I'm like, yeah.
Talk
And-
the same language.
Right. So I explained to her the whole thing here, and she goes, hold on, let me look that up for you. Hold on, let me look that up. Hold on. And I'm like, hey, take your time. Take your time. If you're going to get me an answer, that's great. And she figured out that I had to have a standard level or higher of a channel lineup in order to be eligible for the NBC sports streams. And I was at the level just below that. But it would take another $40 a month to change packages. Not to
40
mention,
bucks.
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, because I think I have a pretty good deal that I've signed into right now, and it's
Yeah.
well, mind you, the next level up would be another $50, but there's a triple play above that that's a better value, so it's a $40 more instead of $50
Right.
more. But I'd get a lot with it, but I don't need the lot that comes with it.
Right.
I don't need it. Really don't. Sure, it
Yeah,
comes with
right.
it comes with twice the download speed, but I've got enough download speed that I don't need to double that. I am not buffering here. I am not hurting for more bandwidth, so I don't need to go beyond that. That would just be wasted bandwidth at this point.
Right.
So I'm like, whatever, I'll just watch the primetime stuff and I'll, shit tweet at NBC Sports about their bullshit tactics to hide their material behind paywalls. But,
Right.
it's the Winter Olympics I really care about having the streams because they never cover curling in the prime times.
Exactly.
Coverage. If you want to see
Exactly.
curling, you have to have access to the other streams. And I don't mind watching. I think curling's kind of cool because there's a whole strategy
It
to it.
is.
There's a whole
Yeah.
strategy of blocking things, and it's all about lining yourself up for that perfect last shot. That's,
Yeah,
you-
absolutely.
You're not thinking about the stone you're putting on now. You're thinking a few stones down the road and and that's kind of really cool to see that unfold. I like watching the curling in the Olympics,
Yeah.
but they never cover that in the primetime coverage. And for the Summer
And
Olympics,
are we going to get synchronized swimming?
I don't know. Well, swimming and gymnastics are usually pretty well covered in the primetime coverage. So I'm not too worried about that because I like watching the gymnastics and I like watching the swimming, and diving's fun too. And of course, female beach volleyball.
Oh yeah.
You can't get enough of that.
Did you catch the controversy? Apparently, one of the women's teams wore shorts instead of bikini bottoms,
Uh-huh.
and they were getting penalized for it.
Well, that's
And Pink decided, no, that's sexist, so I'm going to pay that fine.
they got penalized monetarily, not by
Yeah,
scores or that's
Yeah.
I have to say that's bullshit because I don't think they're making the guys wear bikini bottoms.
Exactly.
And
Do
and
you want to see that?
I don't want to see that, but there's probably people that do want to see that, and I wouldn't begrudge them that.
Right.
Here's the thing: if you want to make a policy that you have to wear bikini bottoms, if it's consistent, that's cool. Personally, I think they should, make it player's choice. You want to wear the bikini bottoms? I'm fine with that. If a girl wants to wear shorts, I would never put down someone for choosing to wear shorts instead of a bikini bottom. As much as I'd prefer the bikini bottom when watching female volleyball, I would never demand that or require that. You know, I you know.
I mean, some sports, you know, have specific clothing requirements. For example, fencing. If you're not wearing the suit, you're not playing.
Bowling requires the shoes because
for some reason
you can't bowl in shoes that haven't been worn by 50 other people before you. It's just a rule. It's absolutely
exactly. There you go. That's exactly
we
right.
got to share the foot fungus. That's how we
That's
get that
exactly
around.
How it works.
You know, it's all
but
part.
You should be wearing socks.
It is totally. I'm sure if you trace that, there's some payoff from the antifungal cream industry to the bowling alleys to require this,
right?
Because we all know
you should be wearing socks.
Because we all know the Lysol they're spraying into those shoes is not killing the fungus. Because that's not what Lysol does. It covers the smell of farts, so it smells like farts and Lysol. It does not kill foot fungus. But
right.
Anyways, so yeah,
that was funny.
So yeah, it took 4 people to get a straight answer to a question at Comcast. Is the bottom line of that story,
which wasn't even satisfactory.
But at least I got an answer. It requires this,
right.
And the cheapest option for that is a package that'll cost you $40 more a month.
Right.
That was the answer to the question. So there you go. But anyways. I bought a Sega Genesis.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Brand new hardware. Unbelievable.
Well, brand new used hardware.
Right.
Well, it was actually kind of, you know, Saturday I was thinking, you know, as I woke up, it's been a long time since I've gone to a record store to go do some record shopping. Now, mind you, I've been going to the flea markets on the Sundays here and there and buying plenty of records at the flea markets, at the record stands there. But it's been a good while since I've gone to a record store and looked through their bins and did some good record shopping there. So I thought, you know, I think today I'll go, you know, there's a record store down in Seekonk, which is not too far from me here in Attleboro. I drive down there, and that store is a store that has sells records, comic books, and some video games. The video game selection isn't that great, but, you know, it has some. But they have a lot of records, and they have a lot of comic books. So I asked Kristen if she wanted to come with, and she's like, no, I'm not all that interested. And I said, well, would you want to come out and go shopping if we went somewhere else? And she reminded me that over in Taunton, there was this nice video game store called Bowser's Basement that we haven't been to in like 2 years. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. That's awesome. And they're not right next to one another, but they're not in opposite directions either. So it would be perfectly reasonable to go out to, you know, Taunton to Bowser's Basement, then drive down to Seekonk to the record store, and then drive back home, you know, kind of make a circle. So I'm like, let's do it. And I'm glad I did, because I was finding some good stuff at Bowser's Basement. You know, I picked up Jet Moto 3 for the PlayStation 1 because I have Jet Moto 1 and 2, and I didn't know how many they made. But I know I like Jet Moto 1, and Jet Moto 2 is pretty much just war levels. And so I picked that up. That was cheap. I found a Nintendo Power Pad game that I didn't have already, so I could look like a fool jumping around in front of my TV. Yeah. Good times. And I thought to myself, you know what I could go for? Some Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, Brian, when have you last played Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh, man, it's been a long time.
Been a long time. And growing up...
Is that on any platform nowadays? Didn't somebody buy them out so they could do that?
Well, after the Sega Dreamcast failed, Sega got out of the console market. And so they worked out licensing deals with Nintendo, and they released Sonic games on like the GameCube and systems like that. But there also was a collection of the old Sega Genesis Sonic games put out for GameCube and for PlayStation 2. So I think there is like a PlayStation 2 disc you can buy that has a collection of a lot of those games. But yeah, because they...
Well, we could theoretically find the ROM and play on a Raspberry Pi, right?
Oh yeah, well hell, you can
or
play
some emulator.
You can emulate Sega Genesis quite easily. That's not the point. I like original
Yeah.
hardware.
Well,
And
yeah. I mean,
and-
obviously, then you don't have to convert
yeah.
the cartridge to a file.
Well, I just like the original hardware. I like playing
Sure.
with the original
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
and the original
sure.
carts, and I have the
Well, I
big-
never had
CRT
the original
TV.
hardware, so
Well, I didn't either, but I like the technology. Growing up, we were a Nintendo family. You know, we got a Nintendo
Yeah.
Entertainment System with the Power Pad for Christmas. We got the Super Nintendo. I guess that was another Christmas gift at some point. And then we bought a Nintendo 64 when we pulled together some Christmas money one year. And then I bought GameCube on launch date. And then I bought PlayStation 2 as well. So
Yeah.
from there, I kind of was alternating between. And I bought a Wii. I bought a Wii U. I bought a Nintendo Switch. So I've kind of kept up on. I've owned all the Nintendo consoles. Heck,
now do you still have a working Wii? Original Wii
yeah,
console.
yeah. I have an original. I still have the original Wii that I first bought when I was living in Oakland,
And it still works.
and it still works. Yeah, and you know what? I technically I do have every Nintendo console, because even though I don't know if this counts as a console or a handheld, but I have a Nintendo Virtual Boy. It still turns on. It has some issues in one of the eye displays, but it could be repaired one of these days. And I have 3 games for it. It looks nice on the shelf. One of these days I'll get it fixed.
Well,
up
that's
to-
always important.
yeah, yeah. I mean that was considered a major failure. But I liked Mario Tennis on it. But anyways,
Have
but
to have at least one decent game, right?
so growing up, my main memories that involve Sega Genesis would be playing it at friends' houses that have it, because I never owned one, but I played it at other people's houses.
Gotcha. Right.
So, and I like Sonic and Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, and I played them a lot on emulators too in college. So, yeah, I always wanted to get a Genesis, but I never got around to it. So while I was there, I asked them, "You got a Sega Genesis?" And they go, "Well, we got some Model 2s." I'm like, no, got to be a Model 1. They go, "Yeah, we got some of those in the back." So they went in the back, they pulled out a Model 1 Sega Genesis and a kit that comes with an RF cable and a controller and a power brick. And I bought
And
an
it
AV.
included all the pieces parts.
Yeah, it included the power brick, the RF cable, and one controller. And I bought a second controller, and I bought an AV cable. And I got it home, and it turns on, and it just buzzes and puts a white flash on the screen.
Perfect.
And I turn it off, I clean everything, I turn it on again, it just buzzes and puts a white flash on the screen. And the way it's doing this consistently, I'm like, this is not right. This is not like something's dirty, or this is like, this thing ain't turning on and powering up right. And at this point, the place had already closed for the evening. So I had to bring it back the next day. So I bring it back, I explain what happened. They remembered me. They said, "Okay, we'll take a look at it. We'll check it out." And
Do they have a technician that could do that?
well, they had a few more Model 1s in the back. They had parts. They didn't have a technician.
In other words, they could have just swapped it out.
They could have swapped it out. Yeah. Because that's basically, I just bought the day before. So if they can't get that one working, they either need to give me back my money or give me a working one. And if they have a working one, that, solves the problem. But
Right.
it was kind of amusing because they're turning it on and it's making a buzzing sound and white flash on the TV like it was for me. And they try cleaning things, whatever. And at some point I look over and they have 3 other Sega Genesis out. They got 4 of them and they're all doing the same thing.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, man, they got bad luck here. And eventually they figured it out. The kit that was put together with the cables, they included a Nintendo power cord instead of a Sega Genesis power cord, which has the right
Jesus.
it has the right connector, but it doesn't provide the same amount of voltage as a Sega Genesis connector does. So it wasn't getting enough juice to power up fully and boot up. So once they figured that, and the big hint what to look at other things was that 4 Sega Genesis did exactly the same thing. So that's when they started looking, and they saw that's a Nintendo logo on this power cord. That ain't right.
Yeah, right.
And apparently they make a universal adapter that will work for both. So there is a voltage that is safe for both consoles, but to take an actual Nintendo cord and use it on a Sega Genesis will not provide the necessary juice. So they got me the right cord and sent me on my way. And yay, I could play some Sonic on the 32-inch Sony Trinitron downstairs now. So I'm quite thrilled about that. And I bought Sonic and Sonic 2 and Sonic and Knuckles because I didn't have a Sonic and 3 loose cart to sell me. Which is too bad because Sonic and Knuckles is meant to pair with a Sonic 3 cart. So I bought one off of eBay that's on its way here. So yay! Now I got to find shelf space for it. I'm running out of shelf space. How about you? You been playing any new games lately?
Not really. Been busy.
Busy with what?
Well, last couple of days I've been working on a plant stand. The stand. So we got these planter things that are like 2 feet wide, about a foot deep, right?
Okay.
We got a pair of them, and we made a plant stand for it, right? So it can be sitting up off the ground, so you don't have to get down on your knees to do any gardening. And that worked really well. We have these tomato plants that are just going freaking nuts, but also experimenting with some chili pepper. We have a Anaheim chili pepper, which is somewhat mild, more, shall we say, slightly more intense than a bell pepper, right?
Right.
And then we also have this gypsy pepper that's actually even milder.
Mm.
So we have 2 peppers to play with, and a couple of different tomato plants that are going nuts, and kind of marigolds in between. In fact, we also have a bell pepper plant someplace in there.
Cool.
So we've already got a bunch of peppers. We're cruising.
That's awesome. And Music by Chance writing in, yo. And speaking of music, I've just heard back from Sparks' manager, and she's totally blowing me off. Because I still have that darn tape that I can't seem to get back to Sparks. So I'm trying real hard to give Sparks back their tape, and they just never come through to collect it. And so finally I bought tickets to see Sparks in Boston, and Music by Chance saying sell it. There we go. That is a brilliant idea right there. I am tempted. Now, mind you, I guess you know what? Actually, maybe I misunderstood because I wrote I kind of wrote, you know, she goes, I'm sure we'll get it arranged next year. And mind you, the tickets I bought for the show are for March of next year. So I guess maybe that is what she mean. I thought she's like, we'll take care of that next year. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. The tickets I bought for the show, they're way out. They are next year. Okay. Got it.
Got it.
Although I already sent the email that said, I'll be at the Boston show if it's possible, hand off there. Although I think she already got that from, well, the thing is she ignored the first email that I said that. And then the second email, I'm like, hey, I haven't heard back. What's going on? And then that's what she said. I'm sure we'll work it out next year. Okay. So I don't know if she's blowing me off to, like, you know, call me next year or what. But yeah. But then again, I guess that show's at March, so it's a little early to start arranging a meetup for March. But I'm hoping I can hand it directly to Ron and Russell. That's my goal. My goal is to hand the tape personally to Ron and Russell
and maybe get them to sign my mom's copy of Kimono My House. But and which is currently framed on my wall. So I'd have to take it out of the frame and then put it back in the frame, and then I'd have a signed copy of Kimono My House to hang on my wall. So no, I'm not going to sell it, because I think when I first saw next year, I was like, oh, you're blowing me off to next year. But I'm like, no, that's when you already said you were going to beat them. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll leave that there, and I'll start reaching out next year. Music by Chance running in. So first time, what are we doing here tonight? Rules of engagement, etc. Well, let's see. Brian, what topics have we covered here tonight so far? Well, we talked about
how to green stuff.
We talked about the green stuff and the red stuff. Now, mind you, the red stuff by itself was not enough, but when I added green stuff, that fixed everything up. And of course, we're talking about additives to fuel for my lawnmower, which wasn't starting properly anymore. And after I added green stuff to the fuel tank and started a few times, it cleared itself out and it started up. So yay for green stuff. Just buy any green stuff you can find. You know, they in the taco sauce aisle, they have that green chili verde sauce. That probably works no, that is not the right stuff. Music by Chance goes, you must be referring to True Fuel. Actually, no, I'm referring to, let me pull it up again. I'm referring to Stable Fast Fix Small Engine Treatment is what I'm talking about. It fixed my lawnmower right up, and I didn't even have to take apart the carburetor to spray carb cleaner in it, which the Motorhead gene skipped a generation in my family, so I don't know what to do when the lawnmower won't start. But this is the stuff right here. Stable Fast Fix. It's green, and I also have the Stable red stuff that I put in my gas as well. So it's now like Christmas in July every time I add gas to my
red and green.
Yeah. And not to mention, I also have a DVD of every episode of The Red Green Show, which suggests that I should have used duct tape to fix the lawnmower. So we talked.
Duct tape fixes everything, right?
Well, yeah, it's the Handyman's secret weapon. And then I talked about interlaced video and what I learned about that, because this DVD has an MPEG that starts bottom frame first and changes the top frame first, and Sony Vegas doesn't know what to do with that. And I had to learn why Sony Vegas was fucking up everything I tried to do with this DVD. And then I talked about buying a Sega Genesis, and Brian talked about his planter. So we run a really exciting, thrilling show here, is what we're saying.
Actually, I didn't finish the story. Yes, I have this planter, but that's not what I was building in the last couple of days. I was building a second one.
Oh, you were building a second planter.
So we're going to double our yield.
So the planter you were talking about before was not the planter you wanted to tell us about. That was just the pre-story for the other planter that you're going to tell us.
That's right.
I got you. So, all right, how is this planter different?
It's the same. Well, actually,
so we could just go back and play
one minor difference, and that is this goes along the wall of the house,
mm-hmm.
and there's a big concrete patio that goes in front of the planters, but as it goes past it, the space gets narrower. So the second one really wouldn't fit in the planter area. So I got a 2x4 and moved one leg inbound.
Okay.
So it'll still fit in the space. It'll still work. It'll work great.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, it is cool.
Oh, and I mentioned earlier I went record shopping, and I found this cool record, which was only $3, which is kind of the cheap records in that area. And it's an interesting Bobby Sherman album.
What's the title of it?
Bobby, Bobby, Bobby.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Just in case you weren't sure what Bobby Sherman's first name is, They put 3 Bobbies on there just to get that across there. Now, what's interesting about this record is that it's not an album that was sold in stores. It's a promotional tool to promote Bobby Sherman, because I think one of the things that Bobby is quite well known for is for being on records found on the back of cereal boxes.
Sure.
Yeah, and so this kind of talks to the units sold for the Raisin Bran and Post Honeycomb and advertising and merchandising, and it's got a record here that is Metro Media Special Productions. It's a yellow label, which their normal labels were blue or black, so it's a special. It's not for sale in stores. And, it's got a collection of some of his well-known songs and some of his lesser-known songs. It's actually kind of an odd collection, but it's still cool to have if you like a Bobby Sherman tune or two now and then. And also included, I don't know if this was something that someone added in later or if this was stuffed in here when it was sent out as a promotional tool, but someone included a photocopy of a TV Guide article about Bobby Sherman, which came out of the December 1971 issue, the December 25th, 1971 issue of TV Guide. So you could read all about what they're writing about Bobby Sherman in TV Guide in the 1971 there. So that's a nice, cool little artifact that came along with.
Can you imagine that? 1971 would have been 50 years ago.
How about
awesome?
That is awesome. And this is the music that people were listening to from their cereal boxes. So, and Sparky Toaster is back now. Johnny has his, I have Sparky Toaster's full attention now because Tianyi is finished shooting. Hey, welcome back, Sparky.
Yeah, welcome back, man.
Because it's almost as exciting as a hot Korean chick shooting a gun. Bobby Sherman album.
Bobby Sherman.
He's so dreamy. What can I say? I like well-produced music, even if it is hokey. But you got to admit...
Milli Vanilli was fantastic, right?
Exactly. Bubblegum was well-produced music. You got to give it that. Yeah. I mean, it was, nice, slick, tight production there, You can't...
Bobby Sherman or the Archies.
The Archies, yeah. I mean, it's, you got studio musicians that know what they're doing, and Bobby could carry a tune.
Hey, little woman, please make up your mind. You've got to.
And we are totally going to get dinged for this with the copyrights on the...
Right. Well, maybe if you cut it off, they won't notice it.
You know what? We should start going to other people's channels and start requesting that they play Bobby Sherman songs. Yeah. And see how many perfect. Bobby Sherman requests we could get fulfilled on Twitch. Right. That could be fun. Because I think if we start requesting those songs, they'll say what? Because, but there we go. Because we could add that to Music by Chance's list. Because he's got a cover In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, Thick as a Brick, Welcome Back, Cotter, and now Little Woman by Bobby Sherman.
Come into my world and leave your world behind. Come on now.
Damn catchy stuff, isn't it?
So famously, Jim Morrison was approached by producers that said, "Hey, ditch the band. We want you."
Uh-huh.
Do you think this kind of stuff is what they had in mind for him?
I cannot imagine Jim Morrison singing, "Hey, little woman, please."
Actually, who wrote? Do you have the information on who wrote that song?
Music by Chance wants to know, what was that again? Song name? It was "Little Woman," Bobby Sherman. And that's a good question, actually. Let's. I
wonder how much of his stuff he wrote, as opposed to some guy in a studio that wrote a bunch of songs.
I know he wrote at least one song, but it's a song that was not released as a single. And I'm pretty sure he wrote this song.
Alone, I stand here alone. There's people here, and still I'm alone.
Not quite as catchy as Little Woman, but
Yeah.
but he got some royalties off the album sales because it was an album track. Maybe they use it as a B-side to help. But Little Woman, let's see, it was composed by Danny Jansen. Session musicians on this recording included James Burton and Alton Hendrickson on guitar, Don Randy on piano, Jerry Sheff on bass, Richard Hyde on trombone, Joe Burnett and Ollie Mitchell on trumpet, Theodore Nash and Jim Horn on sax, William Kurash, Leonard Malarski, Paul Shore, Gloria Strassner, Asa Drury, and Samuel Citron on violins, David Filerman on cello, Emil Richards on percussion, Jim Gordon on drums. Initial copies are released with Sherman singing Bob Dylan's songs One Too Many Mornings as B-side. Some later copies substituted Love, a song written by Sherman himself. Oh, okay, so he wrote another song that was on that album. Let's see, that's this one.
Touch me, babe.
It's got some nice xylophone on it. So yeah, that's album filler, but not bad for album filler. So there you go. That's
Beats a lot of music on hold, right?
yeah. Of course, my favorite Bobby Sherman song would have to be The Drum, because that's just damn catchy that you just have that stuck in your head for the next 20 years if I were cruel enough to play it for you. So there we go. That's my real request. My real Bobby Sherman request would be The Drum.
Love comes, beats on drums, and the people sing.
Oh, catchy.
Anything.
It is catchy.
Any song will do.
See, did you ever think you'd find a Bobby Sherman song this catchy?
No, not really.
Nothing to say.
It should have been a bigger
And he
hit.
wrote it, right? He wrote it.
No, he didn't write this one.
All it is all. All it is all. I think I hear the drum. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Your turn to dance will come.
Let's see. I was actually reading about this song. Let's see. This song about the drum was written by Alan O'Day. His first of 5 top 40 chart credits. And Alan O'Day also wrote Undercover Angel, million-selling gold certified American #1 hit in 1977. He also wrote songs for several other notable performers, such as 1974's Helen Reddy's #1 Angie Baby, and the Righteous Brothers' #3 gold hit Rock and Roll Heaven. In the 1980s, he moved from pop music to television, co-writing over 100 songs for the Saturday morning Muppet Babies series. I could see the guy who wrote this going on to write for the Muppet Babies.
Your turn to dance will come. Beats on drums and the people.
Oh, he has a website, Alan O'Day Songwriter. Let's see if he actually lists the drum in his credits over here. I'm not seeing any reference to the drum anywhere on his website. I'm just
Is there a comment section we can ask him?
let's see. He's on his website. He's got lyrics for Undercover Angel, Angie Baby, Rock and Roll Heaven, Art Is for Your Heart, Skinny Girls, but no lyrics for the drum. Interesting. He has not mentioned the drum anywhere on. Let's see. Oh, view my discography. Let's see. Heavy Church, Three Dog Night, Do Me Wrong But Do Me. I love that. Mel Carter, Jack Jones, Johnny Mathis. Easy Evil, Flashback, Rock and Roll Heaven, Train of Thought, Bluefinger Lou, Angie Baby. It's Undercover Angel. No, he does not list the drum on his discography on his songwriter webpage. Apparently, he is not very proud of his work.
Or somebody forgot it. He can fire that bastard.
I'm pretty sure if he really
We
wanted
should
the
see
drum.
if the guy's on Twitter. See if he's on Twitter and ask him. Right?
Hey, you the guy that wrote the drum? I'm sure he'd love that. All right, let's see if we can find Alan O'Day on Twitter. We're searching right now. Let's see. No, I am not. Oh, let's see. No, well, I see someone tweeted about Undercover Angel, but that wasn't Alan O'Day that tweeted it. So let's see. Name a favorite one-hit wonder song from the 70s. Undercover Angel by Alan O'Day. Nope. So yeah, I'm not finding an actual Alan O'Day Twitter account, so we can't harass him on Twitter, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you're looking at it. So there you go, Music by Chance. Little Woman and the Drum by Bobby Sherman. Add that to the request list. And on that note, I think it's time once again.
I think we've run out of material.
We've run out of material for this week.
Yeah.
Once again on...
Insert title here.
But now I got to go and break another lawnmower so I can find another type of thing to fix it with to talk about next week. Because that's how we create show content.
So no big deal, right?
Yeah, no big deal. I've still got more green stuff, so I don't need to worry about that really. But anyways, at Music by Chance is on it. Yes, I can't wait to hear his rendition of the drum. That's going to be great. But anyways, we do try to be educational here. And I know, we've all learned a whole lot here. And Brian, what have you learned this week?
Well, there's green stuff, there's red stuff, and the red stuff is better.
No, the green stuff's better.
I mean, the green stuff is better.
The green stuff is better.
It's a little flip there.
Well, I knew a guy in college that had a saying, and it was, there are only two things that taste like their color, and that's NyQuil. The green tastes like green, and the red tastes like red.
Yeah.
But then again, we were all like drunk when he said that, and it made sense at the time.
That's right.
But I learned this week everything I need to know about interlaced video.
You were getting into the NyQuil because you ran out of booze, right?
Well, as we covered last week,
Insert title here.
on that show, there's the right button. As we learned last week, NyQuil is what you use to make a proper Mennonite screwdriver. So there
Right.
is, and I learned what I need to know about interlaced video, and it's important to know if it's top field first and bottom field first, and sometimes some DVDs will switch between one and the other just to fuck with you. And I also learned that Music by Chance will say yes to just about any request I throw out there, even Bobby Sherman. Sparky Toaster learned that he likes to watch Korean babes shooting all different caliber guns.
Really?
And I learned I'd like to watch Korean babes. And
Watch the Olympics.
and I also learned that not only did Maggie McNeil have a great hit in 1972 with How Do You Do, but she also can swim really good. But and I've also learned that I should have low expectations.
Right.
Hey, there's another request for Music by Chance. How Do You Do by Mouth and McNeil. But we'll wait till you work a few off the list before we add that one on. All right. Anyways, that's our show. We got to go find someone to raid. So let's see who's live right now. Because we follow lots of cool people, and then we raid one of them. And let's see, we can raid one of our.
Ray is just chatting.
Rachel Ray is just chatting. But you know, we try to. You know what? It looks like Existence 130 must have just started because she doesn't have any views yet. And let me just
It
make
says
sure.
offline on mine.
What's that?
It says Existence 130 is offline.
Oh, maybe she just went offline then, or maybe
Yeah, bummer.
well. Oh no, I think she just went online 2 minutes ago. But she's not actually live yet. She's got the like space screen up, so she's getting ready to go live. But another friend of ours, Olivia Pileggi, is live, and we always have fun watching her stream. And it looks like she's doing some music recording, which could be nice for a fun change. So we should go check out Mix Engineering, audio for my upcoming song. Oh, this is good stuff. I love watching stuff like this. So let's go check out what Olivia is doing.
Absolutely.
And
Maybe we
let's,
can even give her a suggestion since you're an expert, right?
Yeah, or maybe she could teach me a few things. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to raid Olivia Pileggi. And we'll be back here next week. And also 5 Hit Dune Saturday nights and Dune and Bob Show Sundays. That's over at the 5 Hit Dune Twitch channel. And thank you, as always. I don't have permission to... Oh, I did that from the wrong room.
Oops.
All right, and I need to figure out how to spell that again. All right, there we go. Raid Olivia Pileggi. There we go. Now we can raid. And we're raiding with 2 viewers. Wow! 3 viewers.
We lost everybody.
3 viewers. No. We got Sparky. We got Music by Chance, and we're going to go
Raid.
raid. Good night.
Don't seem to hear. This pain is just too real.
All right. Good show.
Yeah, super. All right. So we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Good night.
Yep.